Robot Dreams is part of our centerpiece program. And to give you some context about what this program means is where we bring these super highly anticipated films by great filmmakers that have been, like highly appreciated at other international film festivals in the world, or also films that are presenting the world premieres here and that are by filmmakers who we truly admire. So with the case of Robot Dreams, this is a film directed by Pablo Berger. Pablo's career is fantastic. I'm sure a lot of you know about him. Starting with his short films, with Truth and Beauty, he was nominated for an Emmy. Then with his first feature, Torremolinos, he received 4 Goya nominations and became a box office hit in Spain. In 2022, he was here at the festival with Blancanieves. Yeah, how many of you saw Blancanieves? What, so fantastic. And Blancanieves went from here to represent Spain in the Academy Awards, and it won 10 Goya Awards, including Best Picture and Best Original Screenplay. After that, he did Abracadabra, which was also critically acclaimed, and then here comes Robot Dreams. So the moment I saw the film, and we were just talking about it on our way here, I was crying, dancing, many things at the same time. I don't want to say too much right now because you're definitely in for a treat. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Pablo Berger.
That's it. Thank you, Diana. We met when we presented Blancanieves in Toronto, so Ignasi Estapé, he's the producer of the film, so thank you for joining.
Thank you, Ignasi.
Well, I am so excited. First, thank you, muchas gracias for choosing Robot Dreams. There's a lot of great films in the festival, you chose Robot Dreams. I'm very excited, but I'm very nervous. Excited, full house, enormous screens, so it's a dream come true. But nervous is because it's full house, and somehow, even if it's my 4th film, I feel like a first-time director. It's my first animation film, and I want you to like the film. But I have a deja vu. I really feel I'm back in 10 years ago. How many people were with us when we presented Blancanieves? Say yes. Is there some people in the house that saw Blancanieves in Toronto? Well, we have 3 fans.
Yeah.
Good. Let's hope that at the end of this screening we get a few more. So, director, we have a big ego. Producers know that. And of course, sometimes we say my film, a film by, but a film belongs to every crew member. At the end credits, there's a lot of names. And we are lucky that we have in the audience a key member from Toronto, Canadian great artist, a very well-known comic artist, Paul Riboche. Paul Riboche, where are you? Stand up, please. I want to see you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. So, before the movie starts, I just want to tell 2 more things, okay? What is cinema for me? Okay, sounds like I say it Twitter way. For me, cinema is to dream awake, to live the life of others, okay? So when the lights go off, I want you to forget about all your problems and get very hypnotist. I want you to forget about your problems, about your life, about yourself. I want you to be dog, I want you to be robot, the protagonist of Robot Dreams, and travel in time to New York City in the 80s. So, get ready. This is a love letter to New York, and this is a love letter to all my loved ones. So I wish you happy dreams. I see you later. We'll do a Q&A.
Yeah.
And thank you. Muchas gracias por venir. Thank you for coming. Thanks. Okay, the graphic novel was published in 2007. I read it in 2009. I collect graphic novels and illustration books with no words. So it was before I met Blancanieves. And I went through the pages and I was amazed. Initially I thought, oh, it's a children's book. Then I realized, oh no, maybe not. And then it kind of surprised me. And the end moved me. It truly moved me. And it's very rare that a graphic novel really moves you. And I made 2 movies. I made Blancanieves, I made Abracadabra. And after you finish a film, director, we kind of procrastinate. Oh, I don't want to, what am I going to do next? And I was in my office looking through my graphic novels, and I took again Robot Dreams. I never thought in my life to make an animation film. I went through and when I got to the end, I was weeping. I really was weeping, because I was imagining the film I could make with these elements. And I started writing. I was invited to the Chicago Film Festival as a jury. I stopped in New York. I met with Sarah Baron, the author of the graphic novel. I did this kind of like, Sarah, we're gonna make this film. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be 2D. And she said, okay, yes. It's never gonna get made. And here is this is my 3rd film with Arcadia, with Ignasi and his team. They spoiled me. I feel like a brat. So I need the microphone with him.
Well, thank you very much. As Pablo said, we've done 3 movies with him. So when he came with this idea of animation movie, who you never did any animation, we thought, okay, it's in color, great. Not like Blancanieves, black and white. No words, okay, no words, don't worry.
So yeah, definitely, directors, need producers. It's just a team. It's just like we're like a couple, no? So I'm very lucky to have Arcadia behind me.
When we first started, like during the introduction, you mentioned that this is a homage to New York, and of course, like you see it in every single one. I'm very curious about the drawing process and who were you working with? How did you come to that creation of the city?
Yes, as I said, I lived 10 years in New York with my closest collaborator, that is my wife, Yuko Harami. We made all our films together. So really, it was our love letter to the city. We felt New Yorkers. And in the graphic novel, the city is not very present. You can feel this New York, but it's not clear. But there was a moment that I said, bingo, New York is another protagonist of the film, so that was key. I work on some concepts with Sarah Baron, but I still felt that we should push the film further. So I have my closest collaborator in this film is the art director. His name is Jose Luis Agreda. He's one of the great artists from Spain. And he started working with me in the storyboards. We started working with Paul Riboche, this great Canadian artist, that he did the early concepts of all the locations. So New Yorkers, Americans not only come to recreate New York, we use a Canadian artist to recreate New York, so we thank Paul Riboche. And it was a long process. I think the big difference about live action and cinema and animation is that in live action, it takes 2 months to shoot the film. Here it took 2 years to work with the animators only,
We're opening the floor to your questions. It's hard to see from here, but I think, yeah, go ahead here at the front. Yes.
Hi, thank you. This is a really beautiful film. I'm actually from New York, so I think this film really captures some of the most intimate details of the cities, like the not just like the tourist attraction like Central Park, obviously is in the park in the movie, but like Kim's video. That's such a sweet Easter egg.
That was my Cinematheque. I promise you. I went every day and just grab videos from the Kim video.
So my question is, how do you decide which part of the details of the city that you want to put in the movies and to make it very lively?
So this is a question about how you decided on the details of the city that you wanted to highlight in the film.
Yeah, it was hard, but definitely all my films are period films. So this is a true period film. and we took it very seriously. Every single detail had to be right. How the hallways, the lights, the envelopes, Kim's video, Strand, the subway. So we took it very seriously. So I worked there with Yuko, my wife. She lived with me also 10 years. So she was like the key element to make it. It was sitting next to the art director, and she was always looking at photos, at films, and giving some reference to the art director. But for me, it makes me so happy that you are a New Yorker and you feel, yes, this is the New York this is my New York. So that's what we wanted to do.
Buenas noches, Pablo. Muchas gracias por esta película, muy hermosa. I wanted to ask you, because this is a movie without dialogue, how do you approach the music and the sound design, since it's such an emotional part of the film?
So this is a question about how the film, having no words, you brought the music and the sound design to the forefront, and it's such an important part of the film. So if you can share how you make these decisions.
Yes, I think that this is my second film without words. So definitely the music becomes the voice of the actors or the characters. So definitely the music is very important. All my films are filled with music. Again, my wife, closest collaborator, is the music editor. So we work very close with the music. But the big difference between Blancanieves and this film, that here we have sound design, a very sophisticated 6 months of work to create the sound of New York. The cars had to be the sound of the American cars. We really got obsessed. I'm a little maniac about everything connected with cinema. So the sound designer and her team worked so hard. So just how New York sounds. So I think music and sound creates the third dimension in cinema. Sometimes we think about just the images, but the sound and the music, it really is like it creates like a very kind of the dimensional world.
Just to add to what Pablo said, the sound designer traveled to New York to record the train, how do you say, the roller coaster, everything. So we didn't work on libraries or whatever, but we sent directly the sound editor.
Yeah, that's an important trip.
Yes, go ahead, and then I'm gonna go to you. I also have to look up, but go, you. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I actually also lived in New York for 4 years. I just moved to Toronto like a month ago.
Okay.
So like seeing your movie, especially the ambulance sounds, like
Okay.
that really reminds me of my life in New York. Actually seeing so many places that I have been to in the movie, it's so touching. And I wanted to ask, as someone who is new to New York and also now new to Toronto, what do you think makes New York New York? Like, what do you think is the essential New York experience? Because the movie features so much, like they're doing so much. Like, what do you think makes a New Yorker New Yorker?
So this is a question very specific about New York and what makes New York in your perspective.
Yeah. For me, you have to realize that I visited New York in the 70s. I'm old. In the mid-70s, in the 80s, but the period that I lived in New York, it was the 90s. I lived from 1990 to 1999. So this is before September 11th, it's before really internet and before the globalization. So New York was the place to be. I'm not saying that it's now the place not to be. I'm not trying to, but at that time, the New York that I remember is a New York that in a way has vanished. So there's some nostalgia in this film for me. But definitely, for me, what makes New York, that it will always be New York, the New York from that I lived and the New York that you lived, is that it's a really melting pot of races. And it's open to everything. I learned so many things about lifestyle and how to be tolerant and how to be to live all together. And I think that shares with Toronto. I think you moved to the right city. I think Toronto, in that sense, they're really, really connected. And for me, I was just a young kid from Bilbao, the north of Spain. And when I went to New York, it was like, wow, I only knew people from my same race. I only ate Spanish food. And I met my Japanese wife in New York, so that's kind of like, so my life now is like a mix of cultures. And that's what makes New York better, Toronto better, and I'm gonna get kind of like Mr. Wonderful of the world better. Miss America. I feel a little bit like I'm in a Miss America contest.
We had a hand down here. Oh, yeah, go ahead and then I'll go to you.
Hey Jack, can I talk to you guys? Yes, that's for my audience. I made it for you.
So this is a question about the ending and why you decided to make it as it is as opposed to them getting back together.
I think life is like this. I think the happy ending is something about, maybe I said like Hollywood or fairy tales. I think life is closer to this. For example, in the book, I was based in the structure of the book, but the film is very different from the book as well. For example, in the book, there's not like the final dream. There's no dream about, oh, Robert is going to they're getting close, it looks like they're getting together. Even in the book, you don't use with the split screen. So in the book, it's just suggested. Like Robert plays some kind of music and dogs connected. But for me, I think like reality is just like that. I think Robot found, Rascal, and Dog found, Tim, and life continues. But as I said before, I made this film for all the loved ones that I lost. So it's kind of like, I think memory, it's about memory, this film. I think if you remember somebody that is not with you anymore physically, in a way, it's always there with you. So I think that was important. So I didn't want to make it like, oh, it's a happy ending. And yeah, what is like Robert going to leave Rascal? Rascal brought Robert to life again. The dog was dead. No, it wouldn't be nice. And and Tim, you saw Tim's face. I saw the sound of it when Tim was sad, going like, oh, Robert and Rascal, and Tim is like, everybody was like, oh. So, I think it has a little bit, when they ask me about reference, I want to think it's a Woody Allen-esque film. I think if we do Robot Dreams 2, they get together, the four of us, for Thanksgiving. Why not? Let's make Robot Dreams 2. I think some people ask me, why did, especially children. Children say, but how can they get together? And I said, with Robot Dreams 2. At least we celebrate Thanksgiving, the four of them together.
We have time for one more question. I saw a hand. Yeah, go ahead.
I love the Madonna character coming out.
You got it.
Any other references or any other celebrities who make?
Yes, there are many. That's why you have to see the film many times. There's the Madonna in the film. There are many homage references, famous New Yorkers, famous people.
So this is a question about all the references.
Yeah, there's someone that found the reference. That's the first one that tells me that, I should take a photograph. There definitely is Madonna Pierce, like a young Madonna, like desperately seeking Susan, kind of that time. But there are many. I prefer not to say them. I prefer that this is, where's Wally? Where's Wally? So that way you have to go again to see it.
Unfortunately, we have to go, but we love you all for being the best audience, and you. Thank you so much.
We love you, and it's not because I want you involved. No, we love you. I'm sorry.
And remember to vote. Thank you.